When you want people to share your message, make them mad, not sad. This is a tip that comes from Jonah Berger's Contagious, Why Things Catch On, where he studied virality online. Why do things go viral? It's not just because people are laughing. There's a lot more involved. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to kindle the fire versus stifling the fire, so people will share your marketing sales message like wildfire. My name is Kirk Double K Barbera, and this is your business book tip of the day. Emotional sharing is like the social glue for our relationships. One of the things that Jonah Berger discovered and other psychologists is that as human beings, we share based on certain emotions and not others. So people are more likely to share when they're mad and not likely to share when they're sad. And well, one of the reasons, I'll read one of the business book tips here, one of the reasons people share is to help them connect. Think of it this way. This is a quote from Jonah Berger. If we get promoted, telling others helps us celebrate. Emotion sharing is thus a bit like social glue, maintaining and strengthening relationships. Now, when we are suffering from sadness or heartbreak, we tend to power down and get shut off from the world. We don't tell people why we're sad. We don't explain things to people when we've had a tragedy or a pet dies or someone breaks up with us or we experience a death in the family. A lot of times people close in and they don't talk about their emotions. But if you get them really mad about something, they're very likely to be outspoken and say, I can't believe the president did this, or I can't believe the senator did that, or I can't, whatever it is. People are very much more likely to share the message, to talk about the message if they're pissed off. Jonah Berger created a matrix to help you understand which emotions are more likely to get your customers, your friends, the people in your community to share your message to their friends and community, and certain emotions that will get them to power down and not talk about your message. So when you're creating your marketing message, when you're trying to get people excited about what you do, keep this matrix in mind. And he discovered that there positive and negative emotions, and then there are high arousal and low arousal emotions. And so a negative high arousal emotion is actually something like anger, which gets people to talk about something even if they're angry. So you may think, well, why would I ever want somebody to get angry? Well, if you're trying to get them angry about something that you're both on the same page about, let's say you're in a think tank or you're working on some government policy and it's your job to try to instigate, movement in the community, you might want to think about how to get them angry about some issue. How can I get my team or the people in my community really upset about something? And then those people will share that story of how upset they are. Another negative high arousal is anxiety. Now, there are also positive high arousal. For instance, awe, excitement, and amusement. This is one of the reasons why funny memes and videos get shared so much. But we tend to believe that only funny things get shared, and that's absolutely not true. In fact, right here, you'll see I wrote an article, Stop Trying to Be Funny on Social Media, Do This Instead. So go check out that article if you're interested. You can just Google Stop Trying to Be Funny on Social Media. I'll also put it in the links, the comments below. The point is that being funny is not necessarily what actually gets people to share your message. It's not like you put a cat video being scared by cucumbers and all of a sudden everyone's going to share your message to the world. It's much more complicated than that. And the arousal emotion, the emotional arousal, the psychology of it is the amusement is a positive high arousal trait. Now, on the low arousal side is contentment and sadness. Now, there's other emotions, but think of it in that way. When someone's content, they're just all right with whatever they have, whether it's their house, their living situation, their car, their clothes, whatever. They're not very likely to take an action. And they're definitely not likely to share what's going on. If they're content with certain, their tax advisor, they're not going to go, talk about that person. and they're not going to go to another tax advisor. They're content. They're just going to stay cool, right? So the point is, when you're building a business or when you're trying to get your message, across, try to think about how to make it in the high arousal, either positive or negative emotions. Now, as the last thing, just a basic tip is thinking about that activation psychology and the emotions that activate people to take action. Here's an example, again, from the article I referenced earlier, of a woman named Susan Boyle. Now, Susan Boyle was, is a frumpy kind of, middle-aged woman, and she went on Britain's Got Talent. And an amazing thing happened, and where she kind of, shocked everybody that you should definitely watch this video. It's about 6 minutes. But what's even more amazing is that this is one of the most shared videos ever. And the reason it was so shared is it wasn't funny, it wasn't sad, although people cried. There was no contentment, there was no anxiety. It did something by activating or by making people in awe of what just happened. And I really recommend studying that piece a little bit, looking at each of the elements of the video and what Britain's Got Talent did to really make the viewer in awe of her. They, that type of feeling of standing, in front of, the Grand Canyon or something, and you feel a feeling of awe. You also feel that when people do great feats. And that's what Susan Boyle did. I'll let you watch to see what she did. But the point is, there's many ways to make your marketing message contagious so that it catches on, it kindles and it catches on like wildfire. And one of the ways is to actually kindle the fire through awe or excitement rather than just trying to make something funny. So that was your business book tip of the day. And remember, reading is not a passive sport. It's an active contact sport. So go out there, make some contact with books.